Watertight doors. Maritime Academy. Aims, knows the requirements of watertight and weathertight doors. Objectives, states the purpose of watertight doors. Lists the categories of watertight doors. Lists the regulations in relation to watertight doors. Describes the constructional features of watertight doors. Describes a weathertight door. Watertight doors purpose: 1. To maintain the efficiency of a W/T bulkhead, it is desirable that it remains intact. 2. To provide access between compartments on either side of a watertight bulkhead, a watertight door is fitted. Examples: in cargo ship, access from E/R to shaft tunnel. In passenger ship, to allow passengers to pass between one point of the accommodation and other. Watertight doors features: where a doorway is cut in the lower part of a WDB, care must be taken to maintain the strength of the bulkhead. The opening is to be framed and reinforced if the vertical stiffeners are cut in way of the opening. Number of openings are to be kept to a minimum and small, compatible with design, and as required for the safe working of the ship. 1.4 meters x 0.75 meter is usual. Stiffener scantling to be increased on either side of large opening to get equivalent strength of unpierced bulkhead. Below the waterline, WTD are mild steel, cast steel or cast iron, vertical or horizontal sliding type. Sliding doors to be closed against an adverse list of 15 degrees. Door controls to be kept as close to the bulkhead as practicable and position above the bulkhead deck. Power-operated doors must have indicators at remote position, bulkhead deck or nav. Bridge, simultaneous closure from a central console, to be closed in 60s when ship upright. Sliding type, doors that cannot be controlled from a central position must be closed before the voyage commences. Log entries to be made. Sliding doors shall have both power and manual controls, both from a central control position and on either side of the door. Alarms when closed by power remotely. Sliding, uniform rate of closure, in upright position between 20 and 40 seconds. To be supplied by an emergency source of power. Power-operated doors can have either a centralized hydraulic system, an independent hydraulic system, or an electrical system. Single electrical failure should not result in the closed door opening. Watertight doors classes: 1. Hinge doors, fitted with quick closing devices such as latches, clips that can be operated from both sides of bulkhead. The doors are secured by clips which may be fitted to the door or to the frame. The clips are forced against brass wedges. The hinges must be fitted with gunmetal pins. Suitable packing is fitted round the door to ensure that it is watertight. Allowed to be fitted only above a deck which is at least 2 meters above the deepest subdivision load line. An upper tween deck well above waterline HWDD permitted, similar to WeatherTD but to have gunmetal pins and hinges. Weathertight doors hinge type. High pressure quick acting watertight door, geared wheel 8 to 12 dogs. Watertight doors classes: 2. Hand open sliding doors, either horizontal or vertical motion. Hand operating mechanism to be above bulkhead deck. The time needed to close the door when in upright position by hand gear is not to exceed 90 seconds. 3. Sliding doors that are power operated and hand operated, either horizontal or vertical motion. Local manual control required on both sides of bulkhead and above bulkhead deck. Power control may be remote. To have audio/visual warnings to indicate door is closing. Watertight doors age. Sliding. Watertight doors vertical sliding. Vertical sliding doors may be closed by a vertical screw thread, which is turned by a shaft extending above the bulkhead and fitted with a crank handle. This screw thread turns in a gunmetal nut attached to the top of the door, and a crank handle is also provided at the door to allow it to be closed from this position. Watertight doors central control controls. Local control for normal use. Doors closed for emergency or drill use because of risk of injury. It must be preceded by an adequate warning signal. Door must automatically shut if open locally. Alarm to sound until door has shut. All doors to be kept closed during navigation and during a potentially hazardous situation. Watertight doors type. Watertight doors types. Type A W/T door which may be left open except in a potentially hazardous situation. Type B, a W/T door that is kept closed but may be left open when personnel are working in adjacent compartment except in a potentially hazardous situation. Type C, a W/T door that is kept closed but may be opened only for sufficient time to permit passage of persons except in a potentially hazardous situation. Watertight doors. Watertight doors testing and inspection requirements. Passenger ships tested to a head of pressure to the bulkhead deck. Others given a hose test. Operations, inspections, and drills involving watertight doors. All watertight doors fitted in the main transverse bulkheads in use at sea must be operated daily. All watertight doors and their mechanisms, indicators, and valves necessary to make a compartment watertight must be inspected at sea once a week. Drills for the operating of watertight doors, side scuttles, valves, and closing mechanisms must be held weekly. Written instructions must be available. Note, records of operations, inspections, and drills are to be entered in the deck/engine logbook, along with record of any defects found. Watertight doors. Shell opening and side door. Opening must have special arrangements to preserve strength. Corners must be rounded. Large opening must have framed in by a face bar. Web frames are fitted on either side of the opening. Insert plate are fitted above and below it. The door must be adequately stiffened and have a WD integrity of surrounding structure. The lower edge of doors must be 50 mm above the highest load line. Outboard swinging side doors are hydraulically operated by means of a piston attached and a flexible linkage to the deep plate hinge. The door may be cleated hydraulically by means of dogs fitted on the inside of the door and driven by an actuator. Questions. 1. Describe with the aid of a sketch a typical watertight door. 2. State your understanding of the terms doors closed and local control in relation to the central control for WD doors. 3. State your understanding of the following types of WD doors: Type A, Type B, and Type C. 4. List the operation, drill, and inspection requirements of WD doors. 5. Describe the 3 main classes of WD doors. Maritime Academy.